This word macroeconomics has been derived from the Greek word macros. Already we have studied in 11th standard. Now we will go and find out why we have to study macroeconomics and what is the importance of studying the macroeconomics. That is, there is a need to find out. There is a need to find out the functioning of the economy at the aggregate level in order to find solutions for our future problems. Okay, and what is prevailing in the economy, what are the problems prevailing in the economy also has to be understood by everybody in aggregate level, not in individual level but in aggregate level. And then understanding the future problems. Second point is you have to understand the future problems, needs and challenges of the economy that is going to meet, so that precautionary measures can be taken present itself. Only if we understand the future problems, we can take out precautionary measures in the present. And macroeconomics provides ample opportunities to use scientific investigation to understand the reality. Okay, then macroeconomics helps to make meaningful comparison and analysis of economic indicators. So what are these economic indicators? Economic indicators you should know. They are all statistical data that has been published by the government or any non-profit organization, non-government organization. They publish some of the data and that would be taken by the economist, okay, in order to go for further study to solve the economic problems. Okay, so the major point in studying macroeconomics is finding solution for future problems. Okay, so we can take precautionary measure if we know the aggregate level of income, and then we can understand the future challenges. Okay, and what are the scientific techniques can be used also can be analyzed. So in present itself the government can start following some of the policies and it can reframe the policies in order to solve the future problems. Okay, so we can compare with our country's national income with the other country's national income and say that whether this country is developing or advancing towards economic growth. And remember what is economic development and economic growth. So the ultimate aim of every economy is reaching economic growth. So there should be a comparison. So suppose our country is improving, so we should know what is the national income, whether the national income is increased. To study national income, what are the things needed? And you know what is national income? National income, I think we have studied, or else I will give you a definition what is national income. It is nothing but all the labor and capital acting on its resources produce some volume of output, and that is measured in terms of money. That is national income, okay, per year, okay, at a point of time. Okay, remember we in economics, time is very important, time and money we calculate at a particular point of time. It is because in static analysis and dynamic analysis, okay, what is happening at one point of time will be different at another point of time. That is dynamic analysis we studied, isn't it? So when we study all the income that is earned by individuals together, and there are three methods of calculating national income, okay, that is adding up of income, and then how these natural resources have been used up to produce, because all labor and capital prevailing in the economy will be used to produce some of the goods and services. That is called a total output. If it is measured in terms of money, it is national income. Okay, so macroeconomics helps for better prediction about the future and to formulate suitable policies. Okay, so economic indicators are the statistical data, okay, that helps for further study, okay, in order to know about economic performance of a economy. So these are all importance of macroeconomics. And what is the scope of macroeconomics? Nothing but national income. Okay, now I told you what is national income. Okay, the aggregate income of a country. Income of a country is called national income. How it is calculated? We follow 3 methods. Okay, but what is the definition? The labor and capital acting on its resources produce annually a certain output, and when it is measured in terms of money, it becomes national income. Okay, and then inflation. About inflation, we know that is inflation is nothing but too much of money chasing too few goods. Okay, we pay more money for the goods and services that are produced. That is a sudden increase in the general price level. Okay, sometimes it gradually increases, but inflation is the highest increase in the general price level. Okay, so in order to find out inflation, we need some of the statistical measures, calculations like a wholesale price index and the consumer price index. These are all the indexes that are used to find out whether there is inflation prevailing in the economy. Okay, then business cycle, and these are all scope of macroeconomics, that is national income, inflation, business cycle, poverty and unemployment, economic growth and economic policies. We have spoken all together, isn't it? Business cycle is boom and depression. That is, you remember the diagram, boom and then depression. Okay, economy takes up, reaches some level and then falls, then it is a depression and then recovers. Okay, so boom, depression, recovery, all these terms we study in macroeconomics. Okay, this business cycle itself we study. And poverty and unemployment, of course you know that poverty is nothing but what is poverty? Even resource rich countries, even in resource rich countries like India, people are facing this poverty and unemployment, and many types of unemployment we have studied: unemployment, underemployment, disguised unemployment, or structural unemployment, seasonal unemployment. All these types of unemployment prevails in the developing countries. Then economic policies. When we go for economic policies, monetary policy and fiscal policy adopted by the government. Okay, now we will go for limitations of macroeconomics. That is, aggregate means too much of generalization of the economy as a whole. There is a danger. There is a danger in excessive generalization of the economy as a whole, isn't it? When we study about individual, it is easier. When we study about individual firm, it is easy to understand. When we study aggregate of all firms together, all factories together, the production together, and all resources are used for production, to as a whole. So, as a whole understanding, and there is a danger in it. Okay, that is a limitation of this national income. And it assumes homogeneity among individual firms. It is not a reality. So, among individual firms, you cannot expect homogeneity. Producing homogeneous product is the basic feature of pure theory, pure competition. Okay, we have studied pure competition, perfect competition is imperfect competition. Okay, that is only under perfect competition, production of homogeneous product is possible. Okay, so this macroeconomics assumes homogeneity among individual firms, individual units. It's not possible. Okay, and there is a fallacy of composition. What is good on individual need not be a good for other. For one person we have studied in economics, that is because every person differs in taste, preference. Okay, based on the income also. Based on the income, our taste, preference, everything changes. Okay, so there is a fallacy of composition. What is good for one individual may not be a good for another individual. What is good for one country may not be good for another country. And many non-economic factors determine economic activities. We have studied, isn't it? Weather, psychology. Yes, these are the factors that affect economic activity. We might have taken some money in our hands. Remember some of the examples I have told you, that is, suppose you go for purchase of your Deepavali dress and take some 1000 rupees in your hand and go, nowadays 1,000 rupees is very small amount, isn't it? Take 5,000 rupees in your hand to go for a purchase of your dress in Ranganathan Street, and you have in your mind something to be bought, but what happens after entering into the market? We see many new designs and we offer to go for that, isn't it? So all of a sudden it has been changed, isn't it? So this taste and preference, fashions, and all these are all non-economic factors, okay, and these economic factors also determine economic activities. Yes, but they don't find place in macroeconomic books. So these are all the limitations. The terms might have been given by some economists, isn't it?